Yeah, they pretty much teach that you're just a worthless human being.
Okay.
From dirt you are to dirt you return. You're just here to live out your life until Armageddon comes.
Okay.
So we were a
good-for-nothing
doomsday
slaves.
cult
Okay.
through and through.
Well, Scientology kind of is too, but on the other end.
We were waiting for a physical destruction of planet Earth at any given time. Like as a child, a storm would come and I'm like, it's happening, I'm not ready, I'm gonna get destroyed.
Yeah.
So we were very physically like scared of a doomsday coming to Earth. Did you guys have a doomsday like
Yeah, kind of.
concept that's similar?
Scientology believes that millions of years ago, or billions of years ago, everyone was like immortal spiritual beings, like with godlike power. Like their belief in God is that everyone is a god, and we have
That's kinda
handicapped
cool.
ourselves, like just to make it more fun. And that through Scientology, you can get back all these like native godlike powers and be able to move out of your body and like telekinesis and all this stuff that never has been proved.
Okay.
Like Marvel
So-
characters?
Yeah, like
You're supposed to be in power over matter, energy, space, and time.
so
when you get to the top.
they are saying
Bruh.
the end of the world is coming, and you're the only way that it's going to get better by
That's
getting
kinda
your.
cool.
Yeah.
It's,
But that's
so
the thing.
especially when you're a
That's
kid, you're like,
Jedi
get
and stuff?
sucked
Yes.
into it.
That makes a lot of
That's the
sense.
thing,
Yeah.
it's very empowering in the
Yeah.
beginning. When
Yes.
you're a kid, you think, oh great, I can rule the world, right? And that's
Yeah.
Star Wars.
That's one of I like Star Wars. All
That
of
is
this.
cool.
But
I
then
get it,
what it
yeah.
turns into is, for example, friends of mine who had horrible abusive things happen to them, they're sat in a room and said, okay, well, because you're an immortal spiritual being with these innate godlike powers, that means you have inadvertently caused this to happen. So what did you do to pull this in? Why have you allowed this to happen?
I also think it's interesting to note this here on this aspect, because that's basically a manipulation. Well, it's not even basically. It literally is, in every way, a manipulation of reality when it comes down to what was real. Especially in terms of this non-religious spiritual. So what is true spiritual or spirituality, which has nothing to do with faith, nothing to do with religion at all, or a belief in God or lack thereof. Energy, basically, is it. Because everything is energy, literally. Everything is a vibration of energy, an energy signature. So therefore, wow, that slipped up my arm, didn't it? God damn. Look at what it's done to my arm. Oh my goodness. God damn it, Aloha with the head. Anyway, fuck, where was I? I'm so attention deficit. Right, so it's a manipulation of actual spiritual stuff. So again, just because there's no peer review necessarily, and there might be, but as far as I know, there's no peer review, study by sources that the mainstream is told and ironically manipulated into believing can only be the only resources or sources or experts that actually can be trusted. Because anything else, even if it does have the peer review, all of a sudden now even peer review doesn't technically matter, as long as it's, it doesn't matter if it's from a source or an expert that doesn't believe what we require them to believe. And that means that they're quacks and they're not to be believed. They're misinformation spreaders because they're not actually experts. Because we, the other experts who believe differently, ironically are saying so. And everyone just buys into what they're saying. That's a whole different story, but it relates here because, again, you may not have the peer review study, at least if you do, from those official, always correct sources that aren't quacks, quote unquote. They're the ones who you may not have that yet. Cool, but the problem is that we literally have it on video and everything else. We have it on video, we have it in photos, we have it in documentation over thousands of years, actually, written documentation, that we have Tibetan monks who are able to levitate when they meditate. They literally fucking levitate. Sometimes it's not just an inch or two off the ground. Sometimes they're literally a foot off the fucking ground and they're levitating. You have that with the same thing with another thing they're able to do, which is that, say, in the peak of winter, which is, we're about to enter that, since they're in the Tibetan plateau, they're in the Himalayas, high Himalaya, they have all the snow and ice and everything. And they can go out there in just their fucking monk robes, and not only are they levitating, the ice and the snow has zero impact on anything about themselves. Their physical material being. It does zero impact. It doesn't make them sweat. It doesn't make them freeze. It doesn't make them cold. It literally doesn't touch them. And that's been proven multiple times. It's fucking amazing and awesome shit. It proves what you are capable of. It's just, we don't have, or at least that we know of, at least that we believe, we don't have the tools or the understanding. I would say we don't have the comprehension, the understanding, the capacity to understand what it is that we're not understanding, that we're not getting, to figure out how to do that ourselves. It's not that you're not able to, it's clearly possible. It's just, what have they figured out that we haven't yet? What have they done to achieve this when we haven't achieved it, you know? It's the same thing with people who literally can walk on fire, right? Anybody else, they're gonna get bad fucking burns. They're gonna have to be in the hospital. They might have to have skin grafts on their feet and ankles and lower legs. But there's people who literally can walk on blistering hot blue coal fires, and they're fine. They can do a slow walk, they can stand on it, doesn't touch them. We know for a fact that there's been a handful of people out there who can literally fucking bend matter with their fucking minds. They just focus in on an object and they bend the fucking spoon and contort it into an unrecognizable shape. They can literally do it's not telekinetics, but whatever the fuck it is, or maybe it is telekinetics, where they can fucking they can throw objects with just the focus of their mind. Literally, you have that on video, where they fucking throw it. And obviously, modern day, everybody's gonna be like, well, obviously it's all bullshit, because it's so easy to doctor and edit things, especially now more than ever, so we can never believe it. Even if we have video fucking evidence, it's not believable, because obviously it's too easy to manipulate that. So, it's super stupid. But my point being is that they're manipulating true spiritualism, is what Scientology is doing here with what they're describing. They're manipulating it and contorting it and twisting it. So I would say that technically a lot of what they're saying there is not 100% incorrect. I think it is very true. It's just that they're twisting it and contorting it into their own advantage for power and control and shame and guilt and everything else, so that they can destroy you while thus making you reliant on them. That's what they're using it for. Proving that you can use anything and manipulate it to your advantage, to use it as a tool to corrupt, to destroy, to hurt, to harm, to dictate, and so on. Which is very unfortunate. But I do want to note that is proven. It is very true. Just because you don't have a peer-reviewed study from your official sources that are the only sources you can believe, supposedly, doesn't mean it's untrue or unproven. It is.